Hi, my name is Chris Ralph, and I'm with the Prospecting and Mining Journal magazine, and I'm here with Steve, although he's behind the camera, from Make Your Own Gold Bars, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about mortars and pestles. I've had one of these for years and decades, really, longer than I want to admit. And these are standard prospecting equipment that the old-time prospectors that used burros and horses and that kind of stuff, they carry these around with them. And what they do is if they were out in the desert or in the mountains and they found a vein that they wondered if it, had gold in it or not, they could take pieces, samples that they'd have, put it in there, crush it all up, and then take a gold pan and pan the crushed up material out, and it would show, what the gold that was in the rock had in it. And for fast and dirty assays, you're just not going to get anything cheaper and easier. It's work to crush the rock up, I can tell you that from experience, but it works really well, and it'll give you a good idea of how much free gold is in the rock. And that's what you need to know. I mean, if you've got just a little tiny trace, well, it may not be worth working. But if it's, really good, it, may well be worth pursuing. And a lot of times, even rich rock may only have like 1 or 2 ounces a ton. And so you may not see it easily in the quartz. But if you crush it up and pan it, then you'll see you can process a few pounds. We're going to take this bigger rock and crush it in a bigger crusher later. But for right now, I'm going to take some basically specimen nuggets that I've detected with my metal detector, and we're going to crush it up in this small pestle, mortar and pestle here. This is a piece I dug a few years back in Australia. Let me put that in there. Set the bottle off to the side. And this is some material that's from California that has gold in it. It has a little bit of visible gold. So we know that that's going to have some gold for us to see. And then these are a couple pieces from Africa that I dug in Africa when I was visiting there. And basically, we're going to get just a little bit. And when you get specimens like this with your metal detector, you get quartz and some of them are nice and crystalline and have value for the crystal. But other specimens, the gold is fine, it's not really particularly beautiful or anything. And this is the way to get the gold out. And if you just have a small amount, like I just showed you, this is the way to do it because it's easy and simple and just isn't that much work. So rather than make you watch me crush this for 5 or 10 minutes, we're going to take a break and come back when I'm finished. One of the things that I wanted to show you about using a mortar and pestle like this is, first of all, when you do it, put your hand over it to kind of cover, what you're doing, because if you just do it like this, pieces will go flying out of there. And if you got valuable, golden quartz, you don't want to have the pieces of quartz with gold in them go flying out of your mortar and pestle. The other thing that I wanted to show you is that with rich specimens like this, the gold, basically, if you have big chunks of gold in the specimen, it doesn't crush. Gold, you pound on it and it's malleable and it just kind of flattens out. And it'll actually prevent you from crushing some of the other material. So I've poured this out and I'm hand picking out some semi-solid nuggets that were in this material so that I can further crush it down for panning. All right, so there's some. I'm just going to set these aside, and then we're going to, I'm going to use this piece of paper. We're going to put the material that we haven't crushed, that hasn't fully been crushed yet, back in the pestle, back in the mortar, and then we're going to crush it some more. So put my glove back on, and have at it again. Okay. Now that's down pretty fine. A few little pieces I might hammer some more. But once you get it down to just dust like that, okay, and then you make sure that you get all the dust out. Now we're ready to pan this. We'll do that in just a second. So we've crushed the material down, we've put it in the pan, and there's not a whole lot of material here, but you know, we had some nice gold, and so basically what I'm going to do is get this all wet, and you know, really fine gold will float, and especially when it's dry, and so I want to make sure that everything is fully wetted down, and then we're going to just very simply pan some of this stuff off. Bring this light a little closer. And to pan this stuff, you need to shake it around real good. As you can see, that a lot of what that is, that's all gold. And that's ready to be melted in something like the little mini furnace, or if you have enough of it, something bigger. And that shows you, you know, how handy a mortar and pestle is, that you can take specimens that you found, if it's got a lot of gold in it, and quickly turn it into something like that, and ready to be pour a gold bar or a button or something. So, handy device, handy tool. I recommend them. I have one myself, and like I say, I have for many decades. Used it a lot.